But let's talk about who shined for the San Francisco 49ers, because although the game didn't go as planned, it definitely had some rocky moments, no doubt about it. Overall, the 49ers did win the game and players did shine. So give me a player or two that you believe shined in this game.
Oh, I would say, oof. Today I felt like it was a team game. The CMC to me it seems like a cop out here. I cringe to think what would happen to this team. And I know that's, oh God, Dave's a hater. Honestly, man, like without CMC, without that trade is looking at one of the best trades in 49ers history for sure, but NFL history. CMC shined today. I thought Debo got back to being, they started integrating him in plays where Debo pulled some, magic out of his hat with the little dump off bubble to Debo in the inside the 10. And you wouldn't think making a 10-yard touchdown run is a highlight reel, but for Debo, that's just what he does. So it was nice to see those guys out. It was nice to see BA, setting the tone. I also felt like Juwan Jennings was getting more separation than he usually does, which is encouraging. Defensively, right side of the offensive line, at least first glance. Right. And then defensively, I say Javon Hargrave I felt getting penetration, but I won't talk about the negative because we're just talking about Flash. So I'll let you go.
All right, fair enough. We have to give some credit to Isaiah Oliver. Now, I know that it wasn't fantastic from the secondary at times, but and the interception he had was definitely Mr. Johnny on the spot, but you still have to be there. You still have to make the play. And that's a lot of times corners will drop those types of interceptions, especially at that time in the game. I think that was big, but really there was a third down play a little bit earlier in that game where the Rams, I think it was around the 10-minute mark. It was like 10:18 was left in the game. It was Oliver one-on-one with the wide receiver out in the flat. If he makes Oliver miss, he gets the first down, and it's right there. And Oliver stuffs him cold right there, pushes him out of bounds. I think that play was just as big as anything else in that game, because at that time, the score was very, very tight. The Rams offense was still cooking. And if they had picked up that third down right there, I don't know how that game would have gone. I really don't. So that's one of those plays that when you look back on, like I said, I want to say it was 10:18, but it was around the 10-minute mark. That play right there was absolutely huge, and it came from Isaiah Oliver. So I got to give him major props there. And then I would say the second player. Yeah, go ahead. Actually,
no. You're right. You got it. I keep going, man. Keep flowing.
I was just gonna say the second player. I have to say Moody. It's crazy because last week I gave a ton of credit to not only Moody but Wishnowsky, but Moody, man. I mean, I will say this: he had the kick that went out of bounds. I don't know what the hell happened there, but overall, man, that 57-yard field goal was absolutely clutch, and really, for a guy who in the preseason looked about as shaky as he could, as a rookie, by the way, then got injured and was thrown right out there week one, hasn't been even close to missing anything. He has been absolutely money the whole time through. Have to continue to give him credit right now when he's kicking this well.
Oh, Jake Moody, I always said, people always say, are you gonna go back on drafting a kicker in the third round if Moody makes field goals? I'm like, no, because nobody drafts a kicker in the third round, and they can make, so like, and there are other kickers in the league making field goals that weren't drafted in the third round. That was the whole argument. Jake Moody, though, was clutch as hell. That 57-yard field goal was absolutely, like I just said, like, to me, that was the pivotal moment of the game for the 49ers. He misses that. That's where I'm like, oh, now we get the Rams with the ball basically at the 50-yard line, and it's 17-17 in the second half. That was huge because I think the Rams were like, all right, another missed throw, and nailing that just like takes the winds out of your sails. And the Niners were able to respond well after that. And I think they got some, I don't believe in momentum all the time, but I really think that like actually kind of lifted the Niners a little bit and said, hey, all right, we got a lead. We were staring down the barrel, being tied still. Let's go. Let's get this. And yeah, Jake Moody, aside from the he kicked that kickoff out of bounds and put him up to 40 that ended up being a touchdown. He's been solid. And that, I mean, I'm sorry, 57 yards, man. that ain't no gimme. That was awesome, and it was straight through.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And shades by Chardell, good point. That Oliver tackle was on Kyron Williams. So when you're a corner one-on-one with a running back, and all the running back needs is just a couple yards, and Kyron Williams ran extremely hard. There was a play early in that game near the goal line where he ran through Fred Warner. It was one-on-one with Fred Warner, and he was able to move forward a couple yards. So now he's one-on-one with Oliver and couldn't. That was a huge play.
And Oliver missed. There was a play earlier. I want to say it was in the second quarter where Kyron Williams got thrown a ball in the flat. It was a little off because it might have been a little bit of pressure. He fell on the ground untouched. Isaiah Oliver had a chance to basically get him out. He was getting off the ground and just completely felt like they had Crisco on his hands. And like that was a huge missed tackle. And so for him to come back and be one-on-one with him on that play that forced fourth down, where the Rams, in hindsight, I think that was on 3rd and 2, correct? And so I think after that play, Sean McVay went to the line of scrimmage and took a delay of game. Instead of going for it, Kyle Shanahan, early with 1 second left to go in the second quarter, in the first half, if they don't get it, it's 17-10 Rams, goes for it. I thought that Rams should have gone for it there. I know people like cringe because they think of Brandon Staley, and I just think that was a crucial misstep by Sean McVay, and I think that makes the Isaiah Oliver play that much more magnified.
Yeah, most definitely, no doubt about it. Huge play by Oliver. So those are my guys that I'll give credit to. Cryptic says, my worry still lingers from last season about the defense when they face elite QBs. However, when they needed to play, they made them. Yeah, make no mistake about it. Stafford is still elite. And when I'm curious to see how that second matchup goes if Cooper Kupp is healthy, because you give him Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford, just overall, let's look at the things he's done. Mm-hmm. He had Megatron, one of the best receivers of all time. I understand that, but gave him a historic season. Then he comes to the Rams and tops it essentially with Cooper Kupp. Then he gets Puka Nacua to set the all-time rookie record in the first 2 games with receptions. I mean, this guy makes receivers look about as good as you can. He is absolutely elite. And when Cooper Kupp comes back, the Rams continue to ascend, get better throughout the year because they should. They're a young team. I'm curious to see how that second matchup goes. I really am. But you're right. They struggle a little bit sometimes with elite QBs. The bottom line is they found a way to get a win, but it is something to look at because not always is the team around those elite QBs maybe not quite as bad as the Rams. So